Welcome back. Now you've just seen the Minimax race, and one of the drivers in that race was Roy Gill, driving a Maranello kart. And I'm here with Ben Hanley, an ex-Maranello driver. Tell us the link.
Well, saw the race on TV a few weeks ago, and I'm helping Roy Gill, as you said, in Maranello. I used to be the works driver for Maranello Karting. We raced in the World Championships and European Championships, and ended up third one year in the World Championships and had a good possibility of winning before my engine broke 2 years ago. Yeah,
and now you're a World Series driver?
Yeah, I'm racing in the Renault V6 World Series Championship. Last year I raced in Renault 2 litre and ended up second in the Italian Championship, which was really good for my first season being a rookie. Then Renault picked me up, and I'm now a RDD driver, Renault Driver Development, which is a great association to be with, and you know, it's a big help in my career. They're very experienced and things like that, so they know what they're doing. And they've put me in the World Series this year, so we were quickest in the last test, and it's good to go into the first race.
But of course, you started your racing career relatively late compared to some of the guys we see in the former BMW series or the Renault series. Why was that?
I just felt I had to mature a bit more as a driver. Still a lot to learn in karting. Even though I've left now, I still feel I could learn some more. If I went and did another race, I'd still learn something. So it's very important to get as much experience as you can before moving on. And Jamie Green did the same thing. He stayed quite late, and he's now a DTM driver. So the timing's got to be right. You've got to feel that it's the right time to move, and I felt it was.
Roy Gill getting support from one of the best kart drivers on the planet. Danny Murphy's on pole, Craig Carroll on P2. Then comes Richard Ward on 3, Josh Butcher on 4. Ward driving for Kestrel Aerospace. Then comes John Hanna and Jake Green 5 and 6. On 7 is Jason Taylor with Johnny Buchanan alongside. Then comes the aforementioned Roy Gill with Alex Marsh on P10. On 11 is Alex France for Daytona Racing in Manchester, Matthew Hall for KJ Ford. Then comes Adam Cresswell, part of the Black Knight team, and Robert Gilmore. Ben Arnold for Apple Racing is on P15, 16 John Burns, 17 is Kim Longley for Focal Point, then 18 Andrew Lawrence, Michael Janney's on 19, Joe McKean down from Scotland on 20, Ryan Todd comes next with Tom Wrigley alongside, Ross Wiley on 23, John Stewart on 24, and the championship leader for Apple Racing and Telakra Beach is Nico Angelidis. Danny Murphy's made a controversial decision to move across from Minimax after finishing 5th in Minimax last month. He's moved across to Junior Rotax this month. We're on board with Nico Angelidis. Don't forget the numbers on the carts denote the championship positions of the drivers, trying to make it as easy for you as possible to follow this championship all season through. The numbers each driver will use each month will change as their championship positions change. Just trying to make the series as easy for you, the viewer, to follow. On board with Kim Longley, kart number 9, through the line. List Improvements kart of Jake Green makes a move to the inside line. Longley's off! Contact before turn 1, looks like she's taken Ryan Todd with her as well. And in the back of the picture you can see this contact out of turn 1. Ben's down there, Ben.
A seriously messy start from the Junior Rotax grid there. Second incident had a lot of karts off on the exit of the corner, but there was the first incident that really triggered it off. Kim Longley being punted off and collecting Ryan Todd on the outside of the first corner.
It's Murphy 31 that leads through Luna for the first time, closely followed by Josh Busher 22. Through Luna, the right hand out onto the main straight. Kart 19 is Jason Taylor, the ESK kart. Roy Gill 17, we've already seen him in Minimax. He's also racing in Junior Rotax. Warning flags out for the race leader. Danny Murphy gets a warning flag at the end of lap 1. Back on board with Nico Angelidis, that's Ross Wiley in front. Warning flags now issued to Ben Arnold as well. Angelidis looks down the inside, takes the place off Wiley. Wiley third last time. Angelidis the championship leader, of course. Number 11, Ben Arnold, getting issued with that warning flag. He was involved in that incident through turn 1, so I have to assume he was the cause of it, according to Mr. Blair, and I don't mean Tony. Sam?
I'm in the paddock with Josephine Ferrada. Josephine, you had a tangle at the start. What happened?
It was quite difficult to explain. There was someone in front of me and alongside me, and they just started scramming me together. And sometimes some of them came up my back, and then that made me go over the top of someone who was in front of me.
You managed to get going again. Did you think at one point you weren't going to?
Well, I did actually at one point because I was on stone, so the wheels were spinning. But then I got going again, and I was doing really good times, and I was probably one of the quickest out there.
and I was in a good pace.
Josephine was in the previous race we saw before the break, of course, the Mini-Max race. This is the Junior Rotax category. Race leader is Danny Murphy. We saw the Wriggler, Tom Wrigley, having a little chew at the championship leader through Dunlop. He's right on his tail there, kart 4, Tom Wrigley from Ellesmere College in Shropshire. I understand from Tom that he's hoping to put a new sponsorship package together for round 3, so we should be bringing you details of new investment in the Wriggler's karts as we see McKean up the inside for a place. Stewart goes with him towards a static camera. Murphy, Butcher, then comes Green, Gilmore, McKean, Stewart, Jason Taylor, then Angelides and the Wriggler. They round out the top 10. The Wriggler, of course, Tom Wrigley, the Capes Crusader, keeping a close eye on his arch nemesis. It says here in the notes that Tom is from Chirk near Wrexham, but of course I know that to be false. He's from Gotham City. Quick look at Stewart, 2 karts. He's out front of Angelides. He'll be hoping to put a place, at least one on Angelides. That's 20, Jake Green. Jake from Bromsgrove goes to St John's C of E School on the Intrepid chassis, drives for List Improvements. As McKean makes up another place, Stewart goes with him. I did say Stewart was from Scotland earlier. He's actually from Newcastle. But let's be honest, for somebody south of Watford, that's almost in Scotland, isn't it, really? 31, the championship leader is Danny Murphy. Made a controversial decision this month after finishing 5th in Minimax last month, as Angelides puts a move on green. Warning flag to John Byrne, number 10. Murphy moved across from Minimax to Junior Rotax this month after finishing 5th in the first race of the season in Minimax. Now, I have to say, I think that's a bit of a mistake. I thought it was a mistake coming in, although it does put him at the front of the grid for this meeting, because of course he didn't score any championship points in this category. But well, I'm not so sure that's the right decision for Danny Murphy. He's got a 0.55 lead over Stewart at the moment, but Murphy started pole. Stewart started on the back row. 22, still in 3rd place there is Josh Butcher. Angelides is through to 4th, Wrigley 5th. Time will tell whether Murphy's decision to move across into the junior class early is the right one. That half a second advantage he had over Stewart has all but disappeared. To come through the left-hander now, out onto Rogerson's, down to the most important turn on the circuit, the left-hander, which is the first part of Luna Bend. There it is. Get that wrong, it kicks you out over to the right-hand side of the track. That scrubs off a lot of speed, and it can cost you 1 or 2 miles per hour by the end of the straight. Angelides right in the slipstream of Butcher up the inside. You can see Stewart ahead up the inside of the race leader Murphy. Stewart goes through the lead. Angelides puts in the fastest lap of the race, 40.856. Chasing Stewart. Stewart will want to finish in front of Angelides at least one place to tie the championship points. Angelides and Stewart 0.84. Murphy still there in 2nd place. Butcher 4th is a Wriggler. In 5th, 12 is Gilmore. Did that 360 last month, you might remember, through turn 1 and carried on. Very fortunately, we come down towards the static camera at the first part of Luna. This is the static camera buried in the ground, facing the other way in the turn. Gives you a good indication of the sort of corner speeds that these karts get up to. Junior Rotax here, they'll be doing around about 71, 72 miles per hour at the end of the straight. Number 6 kart there of Joe McKean goes through past Gilmore for a place. Joe makes the trip down from Southerness in Scotland each month. He goes to the Dalbeattie High School, always been a strong contender here at this track, as Angelides goes up the inside of Murphy for 2nd. You see the gap he's got to make on the race leader, John Stewart. There is Joe McKean, kart number 6, finished 6th last month. A reasonable performance for Joe, but he's always been a strong contender at this circuit, and to be honest, looking at this performance, I think he's got a bit to find on the likes of Angelides and Stewart, which is a little bit surprising to me. I thought he was going to be a little bit stronger than this month, but still plenty of rounds left. Stewart still leads it from Angelides, then the Wriggler through to 3rd, then Murphy, Butcher, McKean hounding Butcher, then Gilmore. Wiley's through to 8th place. Nico Angelides, the championship leader and club champion. Sam's caught up with a nervous mum.
And with Tom Ridley's mum, how's Tom getting on?
Well, currently he's lying in 3rd place, which is really good because he came from the back of the pack. But I don't think he'll be able to make up any more, but we're really happy with that.
Yeah, pulse is racing, palms sweating, blood pressure's rising and sphincters loosening. And I'm not talking about the drivers, that's just the mums and dads. Drivers taking it all in the stride. Here come the race leaders. It's Stewart that leads it. It's being closed by Angelides. He's a 10th or so quicker. Wrigley's through to third. I think this is the way, frankly, they're going to finish. Not sure Angelides has got enough time left to put a move on the race leader. Hannah up the inside of Ward, contact between Ward and Ryan Todd. We're into the last lap as they come through Luna for the last time. It's Stewart that reverses the form from last month. They all know where the camera is, don't they? Stewart takes it then. Angelides will hold on to the number 1 plate for next month by virtue of his better performance at the first round, although the points are tied. Have a look at the official result, the top 10. Stewart takes it. Angelides in second place with the fastest lap, 40.856. The Wriggler, Tom Wrigley, through for third. Danny Murphy holds on for fourth. McKean in fifth place. He'll be looking to improve that in the next few rounds. Josh Butcher in sixth. Then comes Gilmore. Ross Wiley. A little bit disappointing, Ross, this month. Expect a little bit more from him, but watch out for him next month. Then comes Jake Green and John Byrne, rounding out to the top 10.
First, second and fourth last month, but first, second and third this month, but in a slightly different order. Tom, you finished fourth last month, third this time. You happy?
Yeah, very pleased to come through from the back.
Nico, you took the win last month. You've not been feeling very well this month, but obviously coming through from the back all the way to second, you must be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that result.
John, long trip down from Newcastle, second last month. You took the win this time.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
Yeah, got a good start. Started working my way through the field, got into the lead and pulled away a little bit, but still had to keep pushing because I knew Nico was behind us.
Well, a pretty manic start to that Junior Rotax race, but in the end, the 3 league contenders coming from the back of the grid all the way up to the front. After the break, Sam will be talking to some of the league contenders in the TKM Extreme class. Join us then.